Hello everyone, and welcome back to NetherTrey's Let's Play Resonant Rise 3. Uh, Last episode I said it was episode 12. It was not. It was episode 13, because I don't know how to count, which means this is episode 14. And today, I want to try to get this powered spawner working at full capacity. So what I'm going to do first is fill back in my hole in the ceiling that I made. I pushed this spawner back so that they wouldn't spawn outside this glass. Now, they still might spawn outside this wall, but I'm hoping they won't. So that should be hooked up now. I'm going to turn this back on, which means I need to go back out here, throw my glass back in. And we're going to throw the switch back on, because we're going to need a lot of ender pearls. Because we're having power issues already, because this thing is just so power intensive that our reactor can't keep up. So part of that is because the cables are limited to 5,000 RF per tick, but our reactor is really only making 4,000 RF per tick. So that's not helping anyway. Now our capacitor does put out like 20,000 RF per tick, so as long as there's a backup of power, this should be fine. But apparently it's not. So actually, it might be the cable that's holding us back. We might need to make some cables too. Well, which is another reason we're going to need ender pearls, because in order to make the upgraded cables, you need ender pearls. But what I'd like to do today is take these ender pearls that we're now auto spawning and turn them into resonant ender in our magma crucible and use them to cool our reactor, and that will increase its output a lot. So that's what we're going to get into today. And while we're doing that, I just want to have a little conversation about how I decided to get into doing a Minecraft Let's Play. Because I've wanted to do it for years, but I've never really been all that inspired to go ahead and do it. I always loved watching Let's Plays from other YouTubers. I mentioned in, I think, the very first episode when I started building the mining shaft that we actually don't have that much left of, because it goes down to the center, or it's in the center of our base now, so it's all the way down here. And that just leaves, that little bit left. This is probably enough for us to do one, maybe two more layers. And the bottom layer is actually going to be a turbine setup. So I'm hoping I can get two more layers in here, because I would like another layer for rooms before we get into the turbine setup. I think we should be able to do it. But when I started building this mine shaft, I mentioned that this was something that B00 would do in his series years ago when I used to watch him. And I haven't watched his videos for years, but the thing about B00's videos was that he didn't play with mods back when I used to watch him. He played vanilla, and he would just build random things, and they weren't all that necessarily impressive, and they weren't automated because there were no mods. But his specialty was he would just talk. He would tell stories about things that were going on in his life, and I would watch these videos and just listen to him because it was enthralling. And he didn't really have to do anything crazy to keep you wanting to watch his videos, so I did that for a long time. But eventually, I did start to play with mods, and I wanted to see what other people were doing with them. So I started looking around, and one of the first YouTubers that I saw were the Yogscast, way back before they were even huge. And they started to play a little bit with mods, but they really didn't do that many amazing builds. It was mostly comedy, because that's what the Yogscast do best. They're funny, and their team grew over the years. And I actually really like Sips, who is a member of the Yogscast, and his videos are just hilarious. I love listening to him. But again, his stuff wasn't really all about good-looking builds or impressive technological builds. They were just about being funny, which he does very well, and I watch all of his videos because he's amazing. He's probably the only Yogscaster that I really watch regularly anymore. But it didn't really inspire me to do videos because I always like mods and I like building tech things. So after I really started getting heavy into mods, I started looking up not Let's Plays, but spotlights for mods. And one of the first ones that I came across was Direwolf20. And Direwolf20 didn't do aesthetics. He didn't do funny. He was educational, and he taught you about playing Minecraft, particularly with mods. and I loved watching him. I learned so much from him about how to play this game, especially with mods. And you could probably tell just by looking at some of the things that I do that I'm heavily inspired by Direwolf 20. Like this build right here, our auto smelting center, this is a Direwolf 20 build. I mean, this is straight up a build that he did in one of his past seasons, and I loved it, and I recreated it, and I've used it ever since because it's amazing. There's a couple other ways to do that, but this is the way I decided to do it. Our spawning build also over here is fairly reminiscent of one of Direwolf 20's builds. Like he dropped his spawner out of the ceiling through the conduits like that and had it hanging and then dropped it down like that. And I've done it that way ever since I watched his video like that too. I just fancied it up a little bit and put these here and the barrels in front and ran the conduits a little bit differently. But other than that, the original idea did come from Direwolf 20. So I really think his videos are great, and anybody out there who wants to really learn about how to do mods and how to do builds, watch Direwolf 20 because he's absolutely fantastic. But after watching Direwolf for a bunch of seasons, he tried not to do the same build twice. He always added in new mods and it stayed interesting. But it's gotten to the point now where I know a lot about the mods as well, and he targets a more an audience that is not as familiar with mods as I have become. So a lot of the things he does are a little bit repetitive of his past seasons. I don't watch him as much as I used to. I do still watch it to see if anything new comes up. I watch his server play series because that does aim towards a more humorous side of the game because he has the entire server of people that he plays with. But after watching him for a while and playing with mods for a long time, I stopped paying so much attention as to how efficient my builds are. And that's what Direwolf 20 is all about, efficient builds. Like his stuff works. It just works, and it works well. And throughout the series, like he would try to make things look good, and a lot of times he would succeed. Honestly, his stuff didn't look bad. But after a while, he would upgrade his builds, and as he was going through, he would just not fancy them. He would just have wires running everywhere, and they actually came up with the term dire wire for it because he just runs cables everywhere, and as he's upgrading, he doesn't take the time to stop and like clean everything back up. It just there ends up being cables everywhere, but it works, and it works better every time he changes it. But I kind of started to get bored with just building the same things over and over again, because while there's new mods coming out all the time, a lot of them are pretty much not really copies, but like slightly different takes on the same kind of thing. Like Buildcraft, Red Power, Industrial Craft, they were the original three mods that really got me into playing modded Minecraft, and they were all different. They all had different specializations. Buildcraft was all about transporting items around through the pipes. Red Power was all about redstone manipulation and creating logic circuits. And Industrial Craft was about the machines. It was all about using machines to double your ores and create power with nuclear reactors, and it was just amazing. But over time, other mods came out that did pretty much the same thing. Thermal expansion took the power when it first came out. It used the MJ power from Buildcraft, and it made machines that did very similar things to Industrial Craft, but it was compatible with other mods that I use more commonly than Industrial Craft. Industrial Craft still to this day uses a power system that's not used by many others. I know there's like universal electricity and stuff that can work with it, and a lot of mods are able to use many other types of power from other mods, including Industrial Craft. But it's just easier to use a mod like Thermal Expansion that uses the same power system. Like everybody who's really into modding knows that RF power has pretty much taken over the scene. Any mod that doesn't use RF power probably isn't going to make it very long. So that everybody just uses RF power, which is really convenient because now you don't have to download, you don't have to set up 20 different power systems in order to get your stuff going, which is really nice. But so my point was that after not really learning anything new from Direwolf's channels, except for some new mods that come out that he does a lot with mod spotlights when new mods come out too, but because tech mods have become so like universally similar, he's starting to focus a lot more on like magic mods and mods that do new things. And honestly, I really like my tech mods. I mean, I don't mind doing the same thing over and over again. I just find new ways to make them look fancy, which is what I'm doing here. So oh man, I couldn't click those in. I wanted to look into how to make things look better. So I started looking for other YouTubers that built things that were kind of fancy. And I came across two that really impressed me. One was Cat Dog Pig Duck, I think his username is. Anyway, he makes really good looking builds. And his machines, like his setups, his builds aren't bad either. And it was cool to see the blend of the two, where you could use mods well, just like Direwolf, and make them look good by integrating them into like aesthetics. So I watched him for a little while, and then I came across a YouTuber named Zog. And Zog, I think, is the perfect combination between builds and aesthetics, because he just makes everything look fantastic, and he uses a lot of the same blocks that I like to use, like the carpenter's blocks, to make things look really cool. So I like watching him, and that's when I got the idea for our little brain room over here. This build that I told you guys about before is a design by Zog, and it is called a hypercube. And when it's done, you'll see how cool it is. I'll link his video to this again in the description in this episode, just so you guys can see what it looks like when it's finished. I do want to get this finished, but I need a lot of diamonds in order to do it. And right now I've got 53, so I can probably make quite a few more. Do we still have? Let's check and see if our Ender Quarry is still running. Yep, we still got stuff coming in. So that is still working. But his videos are just fantastic too, and he plays on a server now too with a bunch of other guys, and they all do the same kind of stuff. They build these really cool builds, but at the same time they look good. So it's really nice to see people doing that in videos, which is really the final nail in the coffin for getting me to start a Let's Play series, because I'm not the best when it comes to aesthetics. Like, there's a lot of stuff about the way I build that bothers me. For instance, these walls are really flat. Like, I know it's got the little bump out here, and it's got the little, like, hole down through the side here. These bug me, by the way. The fact that they're not, like, the carpenter's blocks glass doesn't mesh with the actual regular glass, which bothers me. Now, they blend with each other just fine, but when you put them up against a regular tinted glass block, you can see where it connects, and I don't know, it just annoys me. But I want to do something with the walls, and I think that looks cool, so I'm going to do that on each side. And I think that'll help make it look a little better, but it just kind of bothers me, and I want to improve myself with the way I make my builds look. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's why we're here. If you guys have any suggestions about a way that I can make things look better, or a mod that adds more aesthetics like Z-tones and chisel, let me know about it, because I'll want to give it a try. Now, how many of these? I think I put 2 of these on already. So we'll put one like that. By the way, you don't want to fall into this stuff, because if you do, it'll randomly teleport you. Which we don't want to do. Put one of those there. Also, if you guys have any suggestions for other YouTubers that do mods and also do like really cool aesthetic builds, let me know about those too, because I want to watch all that I can to learn some more tricks. So we're going to keep filling up these buckets. I'm probably going to need more ender pearls. I think we said we needed 80 ender pearls to get this thing to where we want it to be. So let me run back over to our spawner, see how many more ender pearls we've got. We've got 2 stacks again. Is it still running? It looks like it might be out of power. Let's hop in there and see what's going on. Yeah, it's out of power again. And I don't even have the capacitor in there this time. So where is all our power going? Oh, you know what? It's probably all going to the Ender Quarry. If I shut the Ender Quarry off, that would probably run faster, but we need the diamonds to finish off our auto crafting build. So we'll see what happens when we finish up filling this thing with Resonant Ender. So let's fill up some more of our buckets. I probably really shouldn't even be doing this, because it's probably not going to be long before we start doing our turbine build, which is going to be down there. But just in case, we're going to do this now, just so we have the power we need to really keep ourselves going. Did I fill this one in? Yes, I did. This goes here. This goes here. I also want to try to start getting into some time lapses. Zog does some really cool time lapses, and if you want to see those, check out his channel because they're really amazing. And I want to see if I can. Oh wow, that even cleared out our capacitor bank, which means we're probably going to run out of power over here. Waiting on our ender pearls. Hopefully I don't melt too many, because I don't know of a way to change them back into ender pearls. I mean, we could always use them to make a tesseract, so I guess that's not a huge deal. That one. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more buckets. We may need... Oh, we're out of power. So I'm going to turn off the spawner just so this can run for a little while. Let me run in here. Turn that off. Oh, you know what? Our reactor's shut down because we're filling it with Resonant Ender. That's why we don't have power. So let's see what we can do about this. Let me... Did we fill that one? No. So we need to fill that one. So this still has a lot of power in it, but it doesn't have any Resonant Ender, and we can't melt these without more power. Might need to grab one of our... Do we have any of those magmatic dynamos left? I think we used them, actually. Oh, and we can't even get into here. Yeah, we're going to have to turn the reactor back on before it's completely filled. So let me put this last bucket in, and we are 1, 2, 3, 4 short. So let's put that. So we got to remember 1, 2, 3 more buckets. But let's turn this back on for a second. This should be enough to make it so that we are making a huge amount of power. Alright, so the reactor's reformed. Redstone signal should kick it back on. Maybe not. Do we have to redo this? Emit signal and storage is less than 75% full, which it is. Oh, you know what? We probably have to redo the redstone thingy in here. Input, toggle reactor on and off, set from signal. Commit? Nope, that's done. We might have to just turn it back on manually the first time. Oh, probably because this is out of power? No, this has power. I don't know. We'll just turn it back on manually for now. Alright, so you can see we're already making over 10,000 RF per tick. I'm making 11. So we were making like 4,500 before. So our reactor is filling up with power. But this is not. Did we break something? Well, let's see if we can get down in behind here. That. Power should be going out here. What happens if I break this and then put it back? Is this going to start filling up now? No. Let me see if I can figure out what happened to our capacitor bank. Alright guys, now it's filling back up. All I had to do was reset the input on our capacitor for some reason. But it's working now. So let me fill this hole back in. I believe this was one of these, and then our induction smelter, and we're back in business. Cool. So we're making 11,500 RF per tick. Now, another way to increase this would be to use gelid cryothium instead of resonant ender. But really that'll only put us up to like 14,000. So we're really only increasing by like 2,500. So I'm not really worried about that extra 2,500 RF, considering we're going to be making a turbine system that'll be producing 96,000 RF per tick, which is a lot. So that'll be good to get going. Let's see if we got our buckets yet. So we got 2. That'll be 3. And I think 3 is what we needed. No, I think we need 4 actually. So we need 4 more ender pearls. We're running a little low on power in our jetpack also. Which means I gotta turn this back on, so we got 4 more ender pearls. Hi, sheep. Throw our jetpack in here, eat up all the power again. So even though our capacitor is completely tapped out on power, we're still going up by 10,000 RF per tick, because actually the output of the reactor is higher than the max input of our capacitor. So we're going to want to upgrade these capacitors too, and maybe we'll get that going this episode, because I don't want to bore you the whole episode by talking about my inspirational story. So I'm going to take this out now because that's close enough, and we're going to let this fill back up. So let me see if we got those 4 ender pearls yet. We have 3. Come on, give us a 4th ender pearl. Come on. Come on. Yep, there it is. All right, 4 ender pearls. While those are going, we'll go over here and we'll quickly throw some of this junk into our barrels. Don't need this salt either. Throw 1 more bucket in there, let that fill up, and there's our 4 buckets. So we'll go back up into our little hole. And I believe it was... this stuff's going to fall in there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So then we need to fill... Oh, that's already got one apparently. 1, 2, 3. Maybe we did have everything we needed. So I can't jump in there to get those. I wonder if it teleported them out. I can't jump in there to get those blocks back, because if I do, it'll randomly teleport me outside of the reactor. Ooh, we got one of them. Let's see. So we need 1, 2, 3. I believe we have a reactor block in our system. Let's see if we can access this before it runs out of power. Oh, we don't. See if we have the stuff to make one. That's not what I want. Reactor casing. What am I missing? Graphite? Do I have any charcoal? Oh wait, I have reactor casings right here. So I only need 1. Oh, we had some extra reactor casings laying around, so I'll throw that right there. So let's see if we can get a vibrant capacitor bank going. I don't remember what it takes to make one of these, and this is kind of off the cuff, so we'll see if we do. So vibrant capacitor bank is made with vibrant crystal, which means we need vibrant alloys, which are made with those other alloys, energetic alloys, and some gold. So we need energetic alloys and ender pearls. And we're going to need probably a couple of them, because we're going to need 2 for each of these, so there's 8. And 1 for this, so there's 9. So let's get some energetic. Do we have any energetic alloys? Yes, we do. So we're going to do 9 of those. We're going to need 9 gold. redstone, and 9 glowstone. We're also going to need 9 ender pearls, so let's go over and check and see if we got any new ones. We have 7 to start. So we'll go to our alloy smelter, take out this stuff, throw in this, and this. Let those cook up. There's 9 energetic alloys, 7 ender pearls. We actually only needed 8 of these, I think, because those are for the mid-tier capacitors that we're going to need. Actually, we might need even more now that I think about it. So 7, 8, 9. Throw those in there. Let's see what we can do about getting those other capacitors going. So we do have 3 basic capacitors. We're going to need 2 double layer capacitors for each of our 4 octadic capacitors. So we're going to need 8, and then we're going to need 2 of the basic ones for each of these. So we're going to need 16 basic capacitors, which means we need 13 more. We need more gold nuggets. So there's our 13 of those. We're going to need double layer capacitors. We're going to need 3 more of those, which means we need some more of this. And then to put those together, we're going to need glowstone blocks. We have 2. We're going to need 2 more. And then we can do our octadic capacitors once we run out here and grab this. A lot of food. Throw those in. Gonna need these for in here. And we are making a capacitor bank. I want a vibrant one. Electrical steel, I hope we have that. So that'll make our vibrant crystal. We do have electrical steel. So that'll make 1 vibrant capacitor bank. We want to stay with the theme of 2. So to make the other one, we're actually going to upgrade these 2, but in order to do that, we're going to need 4 more vibrant alloys, 2 more octadic capacitors, another vibrant crystal, and a capacitor, and our 2 capacitor banks. So let me get that stuff together, and I'll be right back. So guys, our mob spawner setup is getting us a few extra things. We're getting unknown dimlets, which I want to hold on to. Save that. And there are 2 kinds of enderman heads. There's these, which are the Ender IO ones, and then there's the Hardcore Ender expansion ones. Now, I'm going to throw these in here because they seem to be the one that's dropping. The ones from Hardcore or from Ender IO may need them to be killed by a player, so that may be why that's doing that. So I'm going to put these in here because I'm pretty sure they are they can be used for the same recipes. So there was a stack of ender pearls in here that I forgot to grab, which I'm going to do now. Alright guys, we should have everything we need now to get this going. So I'm going to pick up our 2 old capacitor banks, just like we did last time. Hope the AE system doesn't shut down. And we are going to build a vibrant capacitor bank. So we'll need one of these, which we need those, like that. We don't have our single layer capacitors anymore. Look, we need more gold nuggets. I'm burning through a lot of gold lately. Make some of our double layers. We gotta get more energetic alloy. Throw those in. Make our octatics, which we need more glowstone for. Oh, and our system went down. We did not beat the clock, guys. We did not beat the clock. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our old capacitor bank. No, we're going to take our new vibrant one. And we are going to throw it right here. And that will actually work temporarily, because the other one wasn't connected. So that should get our system back up and running, just so that we can do this. That's a weird recipe. So vibrant capacitor bank, we're doing this recipe, and there's our second vibrant capacitor bank. Now these hold 25 million RF apiece, and we have 2 of them, so that's 50 million, which also means we can now move 50,000 RF per tick through this thing. Now our reactor is only making 11.7 thousand, but that's also because we're sending a lot of power through the Tesseract, we're sending power to our machines that are running, we're sending power over to the mob spawner, we got power being used by the AE system. So this power is only going to suffice us for so long. Once some machines and buffers and everything start to get filled back up and we shut off the mob spawner, this number will go up because the reactor is producing 11.7 thousand RF per tick. So there you go, guys. That's an episode for the day. We talked about a bunch of the YouTubers that I want to give credit to for me starting this series and direct you to their awesome channels. Some of the older ones like B00, I'm not even sure that he's still doing videos, but if he is, go check him out because he's awesome. He tells great stories, and he may have gotten into mods by now. Who knows? Direwolf20 is awesome. The Yogscast are awesome. If you're looking for something funny to watch, I especially encourage you to go watch Sips's videos. Direwolf20 that I think I already said, but you can't say his name enough because he's awesome. If you want to learn how to use mods to their fullest, check out Direwolf20. If you want to learn how to build cool stuff, go to Zog. Zog's awesome. And cat, dog, pig, duck. That's those 4 animals in some order. Check him out because he's awesome. And I'll try to link everybody's channel in the description too. But I don't want to waste too much time talking about those guys. They're going to think I'm just leeching off their fame. No, but seriously, those guys are awesome. Go check them out. Thanks for watching. Give me a like if you liked what you saw. Subscribe if you want to see more. And we will see you next time.